Hi everyone, I'm John from Oddment. We're developing the Odd1 modular grain synth. Inside, it has a grain engine that lets you grab and manipulate small pieces of audio to stretch time, warp pitch, and otherwise do things that aren't possible with sound in the real world. If you like what you see, check out our website at oddmentaudio.com. We're just about to build our first batch of Odd Ones, so you can sign up for the waitlist there. Since I've been working on grain, or granular synthesis, I keep getting a few of the same reactions. Like, I've heard of it, but I don't really understand it. Or, I don't really like the way granular sounds. Or, that's for textures, right? So it got me thinking, it'd be fun to show some examples of how grain processing works on something other than pads and ambient beds, like drums and beats. So in this video, I'm going to show 3 examples of how you can use grain processing to add unique effects to your beats. I just got these fantastic loops from Joshua Van Tassel for the Odd1 factory library. So all of these sounds will ship with the Odd1. Many people may not realize that there's already grain-based processing under the hood of most digital audio workstations. For instance, one of the main features of Ableton Live is to tempo match loops to the project. This project is set up at 87 beats per minute. The first loop I'll fade in is natively at 132 beats per minute. The second is natively at 71 beats per minute. But just like we've come to expect in a modern workstation, everything's synced up. Ableton achieves this with what it calls the warp modes. When you select a sample, you can see it down here on the lower left. One of the warp modes, beats, breaks the sample into small, non-overlapping segments based on the tempo of the original recording. We've been using the transient setting. Now I'm going to slice this loop into eighth note grains. Since this loop is 71 beats per minute, let me also set the project to 71 beats per minute to start. If I hit play, that's just normal playback. But listen as I increase the project tempo. The DAW isn't time stretching in a traditional sense. It's firing those discrete slices faster, but each eighth note chunk plays at the original 71 beats per minute. Some tempos sound a bit off kilter, but others give you a really nice alternate feel compared to the original beat. You can get even wilder by choosing quarter notes. Tremolo is probably the first thing that comes to mind for rhythmic modulation, but grain processing can actually create amplitude modulations that are a lot less predictable. For technique 2, I'll draw your attention to the number box below the segment length. In Ableton, if you drop this value below 100, you're basically shrinking the grain size. And you can reduce it so that it is smaller than the spacing between grains. That creates gaps. And this can be a really nice way to pull a groove back or let it open up, like people often do with a low-pass filter, but this is happening in time rather than in frequency. Of course, we can try it with 16th notes or 32nd notes as well. On the Odd1, we can achieve the same tempo-synced spacing, but with much more control. Independent grain size, randomization of both size and spacing, grain shape control, and additional effects like repeat, drop, smear, and detune. It's really like a modulation playground within the grain engine alone. Jumping back into Ableton, another one of the warp modes is tones. This also uses regularly spaced grains, but now you can directly control the grain size. Check out what happens when I increase the pitch. The beat takes on a tonal quality that wasn't present in the original sample. When we move up in pitch, the segments get shorter and they need to be repeated. Repeating similar waveforms at a fixed interval creates a perceived pitch. This effect will be even more dramatic if we slow it down, which requires even more repetition. On the odd one, we can push this much further. Normally the grain spacing is tied to the grain size and not directly related to the note you're playing, but if I dial the spacing all the way to the left, the odd one enters a wavetable mode where the spacing is set by the played note. With a tiny grain size and a slow playhead speed, you're essentially repeating a single cycle waveform, pulled straight out of the sample, very much like a wavetable synth. And now whenever I play a note on the keyboard, we'll get an oscillator on that pitch. This is especially fun with drums and speech, because you can slide between the natural sound and a pure oscillator tone using the playhead speed. One of my favorite tricks is modulating this with pitch bend. Using the same concept, if we set the speed to 1, and we turn up the repeat with small grains, we'll get a hybrid. Well, that's it for this demo. I hope I gave you some ideas of how you can use grain processing for more than just pads and textures. If you want to hear more or see different techniques, subscribe and let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in the odd one, sign up for the waitlist on our website. Thanks for watching.